how to make Mythic Plus way better so you can never quit the season because you're bored out of it. Hey guys, Petko here. I have debated for a long time whether I want to post this video because I've been providing feedback to Blizzard privately and publicly for the past 4 years, ever since I'm on the content creator group. And honestly, I have a lot of things that I suggested and neither of them has been implemented, so I decided to make an open video for you guys to understand what my suggestions are to them and see if I'm reasonable or maybe I'm delusional. Obviously, this video is going to be a massive cope to most of you, so take it with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, that is my point of view. And before we continue, I would like to give a special shout out to OperaGX for sponsoring today's video. OperaGX is a free-to-use browser that has one of the most advanced browser features and building tools in the world. Now, you know those annoying ads that you get all the time? Worry not, no need to install any extensions. Simply turn on the ad blocker by going to the browser settings and they will disappear. You want to keep watching YouTube while playing your game and you have no second monitor? Worry not. Video pop-out is a great feature built on OperaGX, allowing you to do your favorite thing simultaneously while watching a video. OperaGX is one of the few browsers that have a built-in VPN for maximum privacy and accessibility content from different regions without any extra software for free. All you gotta do is set your location and that's it.
ドアをノックするのが私だ。
On OperaGX, you can unlock a limited amount of mods, choose your own theme, sounds, and visual. All you have to do is head to the gx.store and explore limitless combination until you find what works for you. At last, OperaGX has an option to import all of your previous browser settings. Go to the synchronization and import your bookmarks and settings. That's it. If you want to try OperaGX, my download link is down in the description. Let me know how it works out for you. I absolutely love it. All right, let's get back to WoW. All right, so for me, the biggest issue that I've seen every single season for the past 5 or 6 years, ever since Shadowlands, it's the same issue. People quit 2 months into the tier. And I've often asked myself whether that is because, you know, they don't play meta or is it because of the LFG? I sincerely believe the LFG is the #1 reason why people quit the game or they reroll to healer or tank because the queue times are way faster, right? So in order for you to not do that and to never ever have to wait in LFG, like for example, you go to dungeons, you like type, I don't know, 20 key and you try to queue up, you play enhanced shaman, meta is not enhanced, you gotta wait 1 hour, you say, fuck this game, I'm gonna work tomorrow, I gotta quit. That is why most people are stopping to play late into the season. It's obvious. So I suggest 2 things. First thing is you divide the score. There are different scores. You have a pre-made score, like in League of Legends. You get to queue up 5 people together, push the highest level of keys, voila. And based on this, you can get a reward. Whether you're gonna get a title or not, doesn't matter. And then you have another bracket where it is a solo queue. You open a dungeon, you go to the finder, you type a DPS, boom, you queue up. If you have every single queue in 22, every time you queue up, it goes to the 23. No key needed. You queue up to a dungeon you need, you get to 23, you get with a random people as long as it fits specific criteria. Combat Resurrection, Bloodlust. For example, if this dungeon needs a poison, 1 person has poison, etc. This way, you put variety in each comp. It makes it more fun. And it's instantaneous queues. Maybe you need to have a specific skill level to join. For example, if you have 3 keys on, I don't know, let's say you have 5 keys on 20, well, you have to finish everything on 20 before you queue up for 21, right? And then you don't have to have a key. The key appears only for a full pre-made. If for this LFG tool, you don't need that. That might be a solution to a lot of you because I guarantee you, if you enter the game and you don't have to wait 20, 30 to 40 minutes to a group up each time, you're gonna play a lot more often and in general you're gonna enjoy playing more. Fuck the power gating, fuck the time gated power, ignore that, you're still gonna play more regardless of what you tell me. That is my suggestion. It has been my suggestion for a long time, and again, it might be absolutely cooked thing, but I sincerely believe if that is being implemented, it will solve a lot of problems, especially late into the tier. I agree, early on the first 8 weeks of the season, the meta, or quote-unquote, whatever top players are playing, or AMDI teams are not started yet, people invite everybody. You play Red Paladin, you have good gear, you get in. You play Warrior, you get in. You play with different comps all the time, it's perfect. But the moment you actually have to, you know, get later into the season and eventually have to play, you know, what everybody else is playing. Like, for example, right now, if you take a look on the highest level of keys, just for experiment, watch this. If I get to the highest level of keys, which is what, 20, rank 1 title is like 20 to 23 keys. If I type 23, look at this. You see the same comps over and over again. Decay, TH, Augmentation, Druid, Mistweaver. There is some variety here and there. I mean, look at it. This is like physical comp, a small variety. Physical comp again. Hybrid comp with a Hunter. Never seen Hunter in a queue, by the way. It's the first time I'm seeing it. But most of the time, it's the same comp over and over again. If you don't play this comp, or at least physical comp, you are absolutely screwed. That is the first point. Second point. Again, extremely cooked. But I believe resilient keys are actually causing more troubles than they're giving you positives. I'll give you an example how to fix them. I believe that resilient keys should be solved in two possible ways. The first way is to cap resilient keys to a specific threshold. Let's say up to 16 keys, your key cannot deplete. That this way you can learn how to play the key, and you can get, again, if you do all keys on 16, you get to 3.4k, which is the reward for the mount. A lot of players just care about this. They want to get the mount. That's it. Fine. On the highest level of keys, it offers two problems. The first problem, it enables boosting a lot easier. A lot of players, massive amount of players, are buying rank 1 title keys. I reported this issue last season. I made a video about it. Apparently, there's a user on Reddit that every single season checks out who buys the rank 1 title. And America had 30% people that bought the title, and Europe had roughly 32%. So 1/3 of each title each season gets to be from buyers, people that are buying keys. Maybe not all keys, but you know, here and there, they get miraculously you're playing 22 keys, and then you get to group it with a team that is doing 24 keys, and they join your key, and you know, and you get boosted. That's whatever. Again, people do that. That's fine. And I think if resilient keys are gone, first of all, the title requirement will be lower, and second of all, it's gonna promote less boosting services. Again, they will be always boosting, but at least it will be less, because right now you pay somebody, I don't know how much it is, but you pay X amount of gold, you get the key, you can do this key over and over and over again. Okay, that is the first point. If you don't want to do this, there's not an issue. There's not a way. You can make resilient keys deplete maximum of, let's say, 3 times or 2 times, right? So this problem might get solved because of this. Because sometimes, not sometimes, but like most of the time, if I queue up my key, let's say I'm queuing my 22 Sky Reach, somebody will join and be asking me, hey, is this resilient? And I'll say yes. Then we're gonna start a key. 5 minutes into the key, somebody's gonna die, and instead of me giving them a rest and continuing forward, obviously gonna be 20 seconds slower or 30, they will just press vote abandon, and that's it. And people are gonna say yes because, oh, it is a resilient key and we died at the beginning, why not go again? Yeah, sure, but if you do it over and over again, at the end you just get bored out of the key. You'll be like, yeah, fuck that shit, I want to do it again. I feel like that is also another massive issue that I believe it persists, and it kind of bothers me. So 2 solutions. You either cap them to a specific key level or give them 3 tries per. That's it. That's what I believe would help. Point number 3, rank 1 titles. I have suggested this for a while, but again, early into the discussion, I told you guys there might be 2 scores, one for pre-made, one for LFG. If they don't want to do this, at least try to do titles based on the specs that you are playing. So for example, rank 1 title for a Devourer DH shouldn't be the same requirement as a rank 1 title for Survival Hunter. It should be a completely different title, and once you earn that, you earn it for the spec you are playing, not for the whole account. So let's say if I am doing 4.3k score on my Shaman, that title stays on a Shaman forever. That's it. No more, no less. And then if I'm playing, for example, Affliction Warlock, I shouldn't have to get to 4.3k, you know, just to compete for the title. Instead, I should be looking at the top 0.1% of the player base that is pushing on my spec. Again, I believe that might help, or maybe not, but for the most part, it might be interesting for some players. At least you make other players try to push score on their ults as well, right? And a final piece of our thoughts that I'm gonna say is gearing. So often enough, I've heard this complaint. I don't know if it's a complaint, but like a feedback that the highest level of keys, yes, they do offer cosmetic rewards, like for example, mounts and titles. But what if they make you, once you get to the extreme high level of keys, you get to have also better gear, just like high-end Mythic rating, right? Or perhaps a gear that specifically scales well in Mythic Plus compared to rating. And I gave this as an example on stream a year ago, but I can guarantee you, if they make your Mythic Plus gear scale specifically with Mythic Plus most of the time, or the gear from Mythic Plus scales to Mythic Plus better than what the raid gear can scale to, majority of players will quit raiding. There are a fraction of players that love to raid because of the passion of the raiding, but I would say there's also a large chunk of players that only raid Mythic because otherwise they would not have the better gear to push higher level keys. Again, that might be a minority, or majority. I would say there's a heavy chunk of that in. The reason why that might never happen is because Blizzard would like you to raid so they can, have more numbers, so they can present to the shareholders, be like, hey guys, 5 million people are playing raid, expansion is good. Meanwhile, they might only raid because, hey, I got a raid to get better gear, right? So you might give higher rated players possible rewards, like gear rewards, so they can keep on playing Mythic Plus and they don't bother with raid, or at least make some of the gear scalable to Mythic Plus so people have a chance to compete. Most notably right now, next year, if you guys have checked the changes, we are going to have, I believe, on average, I think Zortas made a comment about it. I was on his stream a while back. I think he said somewhere along the line that if you acquire every single item, or at least most of the items from the final 2 bosses, you're going to end up on average with like 3 eye level above everybody else if you do have the final 2 bosses, which I have no problem with. Obviously, I do believe the high-end Mythic rating should be rewarded. But at the same time, I feel like I will be probably forced to now raid the last 2 bosses if I want to push highest level of keys, right? Again, just a thought. I preferably only want to play Mythic Plus and don't want to bother with raiding personally. I want to chill. I don't want to commit myself to raid 3 times a week where I can spend that time with my, family, friends, etc. Family nights. Yeah, just my thoughts about it. Again, this can be cooked. Let me know what you guys think about it. Am I being fair? Am I being unreasonable? Am I being delusional? You guys let me know. Thank you for watching. And yeah, God bless. See you guys next time. Let me know what you guys think. Bye for now.